Hello friends, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator and another video. I was initially planning to record the part 2 of the Airbus A320 video with the I&I builds A320. However, I think that aircraft needs some more optimization before its performance gets to a level to enjoy the simulation, because I was getting 25-28 frames per second, and on the approach I just did a test sector, and on the approach the recording becomes too choppy. That looks like a slideshow, so I didn't want to waste anybody's time by asking them to watch a slideshow, because the aircraft is not optimized and it kills the frames. I'm not sure how your experience is with the A320 version 2, but that's my experience, and the performance was not great. So I decided to do something different, and we are going to fly the Black Square Piston Duke from Wickenby by Burning Blue Design, which is a airport that came out from Burning Blue Design. They are known for recreating the historical airfields, airstrips in the UK, and this is one of them. And we will be departing from here to our destination, Bembridge, which is another Burning Blue Design airport. And we will be using a GPS-based flight plan with the Bendix KLX90B, which is a free GPS, retro GPS add-on for Black Square's Dukes, as well as the A2A Simulations Comanche. I hope more aircraft developers starts to support that unit, because it's quite enjoyable to use, and it fits perfectly to this aircraft and maintains the retrospective feel of the Duke. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit and let's get this aircraft powered on and prepare for departure. Alright, look at this aircraft. Looks stunning. The 3D model, the texturing, everything looks great. I tried to resist purchasing this quite some time, but I have a weakness for twin engine propeller aircraft, and I couldn't resist anymore after seeing how good the systems are and how nicely this aircraft flies in the videos. I wanted to try it for myself. Anyway, let's jump into the cockpit, because we are not going to walk around for a pre-flight check. Maybe that's something we can do in a future video using the FS Realistic, but not today. We will directly go to the cockpit and start preparing the aircraft for departure. Alright, here we are in the cockpit of the Grand Duke with the piston engines. This is not the turbine version. We will start with bringing our tablet and closing the cabin door, removing the pitot and engine covers. Wheel chocks we will remove later, but for now I think that's enough. We will remove the control locks, and we will click the keys to close the nose baggage door. Now we are ready to do our cockpit pre-flight. I am leaving the performance display on the upper right corner for you guys to see what kind of performance I am getting from this aircraft with DirectX 12 and a GeForce RTX 3070 Ti. The text is a little bit blurry, but that's expected with DirectX 12. I'm gonna try the DirectX 11 and TAA anti-aliasing and see if it helps with the gauges. But for this flight, we are going to stick with DirectX 12, and we'll see how it performs with DirectX 12 and DLSS with quality setting. Alright, pre-flight mixtures are in the off position, propellers are full forward, throttles are closed, landing gear is down, boost pumps turned off, magnetos are off, generators off, inverters and avionics master is off. Weather radar should be in the standby position if I am not mistaken. Let's put it into off position for now. And this is the unit that I was talking about, Bendix KLN90B. I will put a link to the download page for this unit, but I think it fits nicely with all the other avionics we have here, and it's a very interesting retrospective GPS unit that fits to this aircraft very well, in my opinion. Alright, I think that's all we need to do for the cockpit pre-flight. We will then start powering the aircraft. Oh, circuit breakers are all in, and they can be popped out, or they can pop out with emergencies or failures, so every single one of them are modeled. So it's better that we check those. And let's see if we can check the battery voltages. There should be where was the okay, there is the windshield ice. Where is my voltmeter? Oh, they're here. It's here, but I'm not sure if we can see. Maybe not before powering the aircraft on. I have to read the manual a little bit more to understand the startup procedure, but we will turn on the battery. And that will provide some DC power to the aircraft. We will turn the nav light on. And let's take a look to see if we can if we are getting any battery readings from the display we have here. I'm reading around 24 volts, which is fine. And we will talk about the startup procedure for this aircraft. It's very simple. You just need to be careful. First, we need to pre-oil the engines. We will start with pre-oiling the right engine by turning on the pre-oiler. I have a button assigned to on my controller, so that's what I'm using to turn it on. And we are gonna wait 30 seconds to get the oil pressure rise beyond the red marker here. After we are done with that, which we are now, we will do the same thing for the left engine, and then eventually prime the engine and get it ready for engine start. I think that's enough. We will go and turn the left engine pre-oiler. Again, I am using my controller, but pre-oiler switch is here. That's a 3-position switch. And the oil pressure is increasing. In the meantime, we can put the mixture to full rich and throttles to full forward, just to prepare the engines to prime with the boost pumps. That's getting close now, just a little bit more, and there we go. So we pre-oiled both engines. Now we can turn on the right boost pump to prime the right engine first. We can do this for 5 to 8 seconds to prime the engine. That's enough, and we'll do the same for the left engine. I'm just counting to 5. That's enough. And we will bring the throttles back and crack open the throttles to about there. Beacon light can come on because we are about to start the engines. I'm not gonna yell clear prop. Magnetos to both, and we will start with the right engine. Let's see if I can get it with in the first try. Oh, there we go. Very nice. So we will adjust the throttle to 1000 RPM to warm up the engine. And we can turn on the right generator. So now we will do the same thing for the left engine. Magnetos to both, and then clear prop through the window and start. There you go. It's really quick to start, and I had luck starting the engines. I never had engine start failures in this aircraft. So now the right engine is running. Right generating can turn on. We can turn on the Avionics master and main inverter on. That will power our Avionics. That's the GPS unit powering on. It's gonna do a self-test. We could have done this with the external power. Now on the first start, it's gonna ask us to set the barometric pressure. I don't know what the pressure is, but we can check the weather and see what the weather is at Wickenby. No METAR available here. That leaves us with one option. That's the magical B key to set the pressure. And looks like it's close, so it's 29 or 9 or 1, and that's what we will set. So the way this operates is this line in the middle divides the screen into two halves, and these knobs over here on the left and right are controlling each side independently. So the outer knob is to move the cursor and inner is to make the selection. So if I go there and set it to 9 and then go next and set it to 1, that's the altimeter. And then I'll move one more time to approve, hit enter, and then enter one more time, and now we have the pressure acknowledged and the unit will power on and start aligning with the satellites. Alright, all T's and P's are looking good. Oil temperature, oil pressure, oil temperature is increasing still. Cylinder head temperatures are also increasing, so it's gonna take a while for the engines to warm up. Cabin is currently at 11 degrees Celsius, so we might wanna consider turning on the auto heat to warm up the cabin to provide a comfortable environment for our passengers. I haven't set up anything for the payload, but we can set and take 2 passengers here, and then we can take 30 pounds of, like 50 pounds to the rear cargo compartment and 80 pounds to the front. We can leave the fuel as is. I think that's plenty of fuel to get us where we need to go. And under the options, there is nothing I'm gonna change here just yet, and we'll come back to it. I'm pretty sure you have seen gazillion videos about the EFP and the engine simulation and the display in the EFP, so I'm not gonna bother with that. I will straightly go to the GPS. We have a message that we can read inside the space. Use airspace METAR search -D. Some messages. Position differs from last position by 2 nautical miles, which is fine, and present position is displayed here, and we can set up our flight plan. So I'm not going to dive into the details of this unit in this video. That's going to be too long and it requires its own video to talk about this, but this will the outer knob will help you go between different pages, and then the cursor button will enable and disable the cursor. So we are at nav1 page, airport 1, VOR, NDB, intercourse, sub, center 1, reference, DT1. So it's kind of going around the clockwise rotation to these pages, and the left one does the same thing. Cal 1, stat 1, setup 1, other 1, trip, mode, and flight plan. So this is the page I'm looking for. So how do we enter a flight plan? So the developer did something really interesting and smart in my opinion. So you have to enable the cursor to be able to enter information. Again, same rules apply. This little one will select the letters in an order, and the big one or the other one will move to the next character. So we are at Wickenby, Echo Golf November Whiskey, Echo. Jump now to the next. Golf. And then November. So this is tedious, obviously. But bear with me, I'll show you an easier way here in a little bit. And the next one will be Whiskey. So we can go backwards to get there a little bit faster. Alright, and then we will enter this. That will give us the information here. Wickenby, yes, that's what I want. And entering it once more will move us to the second waypoint on our flight plan. So the second waypoint is EVCAL, Echo Victor Kilo Alpha Lima. And if we click the cursor text here, it enables the keyboard entry mode, and I can use my keyboard and the enter key on my keyboard to enter the information. Enter, yes, that's what I want, that's the correct waypoint, and I'm on the third one. Third one is the Daventry VOR, DTY, Delta Tango Yankee. Yes, that's the correct waypoint. From there it's Finma. From Finma we are going to Silva. And now we have the same waypoint in different places or different locations in the world. It's asking like, is it the Great Britain one or is it the Japan, Hong Kong? First option is what I want, so we will select that and enter. Cowley is the next waypoint, and enter that one. Nori is the other one, enter that one too. Tabin, and from Tabin we are going to Pepys. Enter this too, and then from there it's Southampton VOR, Sam, Sierra Alpha Mike, VOR Great Britain, yes, and enter that, and then our destination, Echo Golf Hotel Juliet. That's Bembridge, yes. And that's pretty much it. Right clicking the keyboard will bring us back to the cursor mode, and if I click the cursor button, I have my flight plan entered, and there's a message here. Adjust the nav indication course to 226, which is our HSI course, which I haven't touched yet, but we can set that to 226. So that's not the course. And by the way, we have to keep the, let me just set this first, 2122, and that's roughly around 226 actually. And we will keep this at nav1, not the RNAV. Let's see if the message is there. No, I think we are good. So that's our flight plan entered. We are pretty much ready right now if we want to, but I'm gonna go to some other pages. So if I keep the nav page here, so it's showing that the next point is 4.9 miles away and the bearing is 226, which is very handy. That's the closest airport. If I go use the smaller one, I can scroll between nav1, nav2 pages that displays different information on each page. nav3, minimum sector altitude is 1800, yada yada yada. There's a lot of information here. VNAV inactive, we'll talk about VNAV when we are in cruise. And that gives you a map display, kind of, that looks like Pac-Man. But if I pull the nav page here and go to nav 5, then I will have a greater map display, and now I can enable the cursor to change the sorry, wrong one, range to 40, 30, 25, or increase it as much as I want. So that's a good option. I'll leave it at 40, and there's nothing oh, if I enable this, I can turn on the VORs, turn on to display the NDVs, turn on to display the airports, north up, track up, heading up, different orientation options for the map. So this is all I'm gonna cover for this unit today. We can maybe just talk about the Direct 2 as well, but that's pretty much going to be it. I might end up recording a full video on how to program this unit. If you are interested in seeing that, please leave me a comment, and based on how many people shows interest, I can plan for recording a video for this. So a couple more things. We are going to fly at 10,000 feet. I think that's, yep, heading, attitude. We will just select the nav mode, pre-select the nav mode. We will turn on the pitch trim for the autopilot and prop sync. We will turn on the taxi lights, and we are ready to go. All I need to do is bring the chocks in, and there was a, oh, they are here, okay, so that means we are really good to go. Transponder can go to standby, should be here, and we can put the weather radar to standby as well. Radios, we are not gonna use them, we are not using ATC today, so we will leave it alone, and we'll release the parking brake and start moving towards the runway. Oh, before doing that, maybe we should just look at this airport from above, just to see how it looks like, and whether you wanna get this airport for yourself if you like to fly GA aircraft, and if you like the UK, I think this is a really good representation of the real world counterpart. A lot of nice details, some hangars, and I'm pretty sure Burning Blue Design did their thing to bring this aircraft to a detail level where it's true to life. And there's, looks like a cargo terminal or cargo storage something over there. That's one of the two runways, some static aircraft, and looks like there's another building over there. We will quickly check that one, and then we will be on our way. Yep, Frontier. I'm not sure if this is a logistics company located here. I haven't looked at the history of this airport, but there are some static aircraft parked over here too, and that's pretty much it. Let's just get back to our aircraft. And let's get going. Yeah, okay. Nice. Parking brake is now off. We will feed some power to the engines to get moving towards the runway. All T's and P's are looking okay. We will do a quick engine run up while we are at the runway threshold. Alright, that's good enough. Let's go back to 1000 RPM. Take this taxiway, which should be the taxiway that will take us to the runway. Ground handling of this aircraft is also really nice. Let's check the brakes. Quick tap. And there is the runway. I think we can just stop here because we don't have any traffic. We are not using any AI traffic or anything like that. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing the run up here, but we will just quickly stop here, set the brakes, and do the engine run up. So for the run up, as far as I read through the manual, we are going to put the fuel tank selectors to crossfeed, and we will increase the RPM to 2500. Or maybe not 2500 but 2000. I can't remember. And we will hold the brakes too. That's a little bit too much. And we'll do the prop governor check by cycling the prop levers. We are seeing a drop in the RPM as expected. 2 cycles, I think that's good enough. Quick magneto check, left mag, RPM drop, back to both. Right mag, RPM drop, back to both. Same for the left magneto, left, both, right, and both. So mags are working. Prop governor is working. We'll bring the throttles back to idle level. This is the simple run-up that I make. This aircraft might have a different run-up procedure, but as far as I know, this should also give us what we need, and we can make sure that the aircraft systems are in good condition. Anything else I forgot for the run-up? I don't think so. Taxi lights, oh, they were already on. We'll turn on the landing lights. We are about to enter the runway, and we'll probably, it's a good idea to put the strobes on early and then disengage the parking brake, and she should start rolling towards the runway. Nice. So flaps, we will select 1 notch of flaps for takeoff, and then we will initially fly the runway heading, climb a little bit, and then engage the autopilot, and hopefully that will take care of everything. Alright, increasing the throttles, getting up to 1500 RPM, 1750, 2000. Quick check on the T's and P's, everything is looking okay. Release the brakes and then take off power. 40 inches of manifold pressure, forward pressure on the stick, and oops, I didn't mean to do that, but there we go. Let's get her up in the air, and we are off. Positive rate. Gear is now coming up. We will lower the nose just a little bit to pick up some speed. We are at 500, so we can cut the throttles to climb power of 35 inches of manifold pressure and around 2700 RPM. Alright, that's good enough. Is my prop sync not turned on? It is turned on, and we can engage the autopilot, which will then keep the attitude and keep the aircraft climbing, and also it will get us on the nav course. So taxi light can come off, strobes are on, we can turn off the landing lights too. This is a GA aircraft, we are not gonna wait until 10,000 to turn off the landing lights. And as you see now, the GPS unit is navigating us to our first waypoint. We can increase the range to 60. And we can check the DME for some information here, and we can sync our heading bug with our current heading, and whenever we need to change a course we will get a message. But overall, there we go. Beautiful departure from Wickenby. The farm fields are looking great, and The cabin temperature is looking now great. Weather radar, we can turn it on. Transponder, I think we selected altitude reporting, but I'll double check that. And there is a message. What does it say? Adjust navigation course to 201. Sure. We will adjust the course to 201. And we are passing 5,300. And looks like we are on course. So the GPS unit is doing its job. And we are climbing at 2,000 feet per minute. I think that's a little bit too much. We can pitch the nose down just a tiny bit to help with the speed and do not lose so much speed. And that should get us to a nice climbing rate of 1,500 feet per minute. So far, so good. As I said, we are not using any VORs or any ATC radios or communication radios, but we will be following this course, getting up to 10,000 and initially cruising. And at cruise we will discuss the procedure altitude for our destination airport. I am just looking at the little nav map on my other screen, but I don't think that small airfield has any procedures at all. So we will just use it like this, and we will discuss what we need to do once we get closer to our destination. Really beautiful aircraft. As you rotate around, the sound changes. Isn't that beautiful? Really. We are high enough. We can close the cowl flaps now. We need to keep them like 5-6 seconds to the closed position for the cowl flaps to close. And we can set the mixture for a lean mixture because we are still at full rich. So let's click that. That will help us find the lean position. So we will start with the right engine, pulling the mixture back, and at some point we should see a peak EGT message on the display. There we go, and we will just use that and go down just a little bit more, and that should be enough. I think anything around 50 is good right there. 52, 53, and we'll do the same thing for the right engine so that we don't run rich and ruin our spark plugs. Waiting for the peak EGT. There is the message. We'll keep coming down. Nice. So now it's lean off peak, I believe is what it is called, and we can set the climb now based on our current power. Increase the pitch. I'm using my controller binding that I have for the pitch. Oh no, we don't have to because we are at 10,000, so that's not an option. We are going to set the cruise power to 30 inches of manifold pressure. Just about there, and we will drop the RPM just a little bit more to 2,500. And that should give us a nice cruise. Everything is looking great, and one thing we can check is with the unit. Oh, we have forgot to turn off the cross feed after the run-up, but one thing we can check here is the VNAV, which we need to change the page. That's the active flag. Just trying to find the VNAV page. Altitude button, selected altitude. We want to get down to something like maybe 3000 feet. We want to do it at our last waypoint, which is Southampton, so SAM, Sierra Alpha Mike. So we want to be at 3000 at Sierra Alpha Mike is what we are thinking, and then the angle. And we want to do this 5 miles before with 3-degree descent angle. Enter. And then the moment I get out, the VNAV is armed. I can use this to get back to my nav page. Oh, the barometric pressure at the destination airport is set. I think that's pretty much it to use the VNAV in this aircraft. And VNAV is armed. We should get a counter when we get closer, so I'm gonna go back to the nav page. I'm still learning this, so bear with me. We'll see how close we are and when we need to descend here in a little bit, but I'll leave you guys and cut the video here to bring you guys back when we are closer to our destination. Beautiful view of the UK outside the window. Very nice. Overall great aircraft in my opinion. Alright, see you in a little bit. Welcome back friends. We are close to our top of descent and we will start descending the aircraft very shortly, so let's jump into the cockpit and take a look. So once you set up the VNAV and arm it, when you are within 10 minutes of top of descent, you'll get a timer here. And now we are down to 1 minute 40 seconds roughly. And that's when we are going to start our descent. Looks like our right cowl flap is still open, or at least just a little bit open, so I'm gonna keep that switch in the closed position for a little bit more. And we are about to hit our top of descent to descend down. So we can select the altitude to 3000. We can select the attitude mode to prepare the aircraft for descent. It's gonna maintain 10,000 for now, but we will start descending very shortly in about 60 seconds. I think we are gonna set a descent rate of 1500 feet per minute. That will hopefully get us the 3-degree descent we need, but we will see. We have to play with it to get what we want. Oh, I accidentally touched the throttles. Oh, not the throttles. I touched my controller for the prop levers, but anyway, 10 seconds. We are gonna first set the aircraft for descent and pitch the nose down. There we go. Let's pitch the nose down just a little bit. It's a little bit too much. I think that's good. And we can cut the throttles to 25 inches of manifold pressure, and that should maintain the speed while giving us a good descent. We can even go lower, and the unit should now show us and we need to play with this. Oh, it's windy, looks like it's gusting just a little bit. We might want to go a little bit more on the nose trim to pitch it down just a tiny bit more. That should keep the autopilot descending. I still haven't explored how I will see the required descent rate. But we'll see. We can reduce the throttles just a little bit more, even cut the RPM to 2400 to maintain the speed and not slow down, not speed up too much. And we will descend like this. The weather started to become crazy. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the live weather in the sim, but it looks like it's a little bit jumpy right now. And we are descending a little bit faster than I like, so I'm gonna pitch the nose slightly up and maintain 1,000 feet per minute descent, or at least aim for it. That looks better. That should control the speed too. Okay, the descent rate is not staying steady. I want to stay at 1,000 feet per minute, and I am failing to set that to, oh my god. There's a lot of turbulence around us, so that's not helping with our descent rate because the aircraft is jumping around. But I think we'll be fine. We still have quite some time before we see the airport, so, and we already lost 40% of our altitude. I think I'll keep it like this and keep descending, and then prepare the aircraft for landing when we get there. So we don't have too much left. I'll bring you guys back when we are a little bit closer to the airport for the landing part. Welcome back, friends. We are now at 3,000 feet. And about to make the final turn towards the airport. So we are waiting for that last turn. The weather became a little bit windy and the aircraft jumps around a lot. It's turbulent right now. But for the landing and getting ready to align with the runway, we are going to use what we know as the OBS mode. So to do that, we will go to mode page, mode 2, and as you see, press GPS course for OBS. We are not ready to do that just yet. After this turn, we are gonna switch to the heading mode, and while we are doing that, I don't need the VNAV page, so we will keep that map over here. And there is the Southampton airport, which we could have set as our destination, but we are going to do the Bembridge. Here in a little bit over Southampton, we are gonna make a left turn to 152, we should get ready to set the course to 152, as we should get that message here in a little bit. And we are maintaining 3000. Speed is looking good, and we can even just reduce the speed just a little bit to give ourselves more time to set everything up. So I'm gonna cut the throttles to 25 inches of manifold pressure and 2500 RPM or 2400 RPM just to control the speed. And we are making that turn. We have the message, set the course to 152. Yes sir, we will. That should be close. And now I'll set my heading mode and sync my heading bug just to set the OBS. So we will fly the heading mode, go down to the GPS, and the course, GPS course button for this aircraft is right over here. If we press this and come back to it, it's showing the OBS as 152. But what we want is 118 to align with the runway. So we can set that later, or we can do it because we are currently on the heading mode. It's still quite jumpy. That's 118, and if I change this to the nav page, you'll see that we will have a direct line from the runway. That line is what we want to intercept to align with runway 12 at our destination. And that's showing the course. Now we can slowly start aligning with that by flying to the right to intercept the course. And that will get us in line with the runway. In the meantime, I think we can drop the altitude down to 2000 feet and pitch the nose down to descent. Switch to the attitude mode and pitch the nose down. It's quite jumpy, it's just giving me a hard time setting up the vertical speed. But I think now we have set 1000 feet ish, and we are trying to intercept that course, which will get closer as we get there. So we'll fly like this. Once we see the needle moving to the center, we can set it up. I'm not sure if we have any nav aids that we can use for this airport. Alright, we are coming down to 2000 nicely. Is that needle moving now? Not quite yet. Quite yet, but it is slowly moving to the center, as you see, which means we need to intercept and align with the needle to stay on the runway QDM. I'm just gonna get a little bit closer, zoom in and monitor the needle to make the turn to align with the runway, and then we will be ready to take control and bring the aircraft down to about 1000 feet. Right, the altitude will stay at 200 feet, that's our minimums. But we can slowly turn towards the needle and start aligning the aircraft with the runway. Nice. All looking great. While we are getting in for landing, we'll just turn on the landing lights. Looks like we are getting the needle to the center very shortly. That's what I'm focusing on right now. Align the aircraft with the course of the runway or the heading of the runway to land. Perfect. Almost there. We should be able to see the airport now, so let's just turn towards the runway now. And let's get ready to take control of the aircraft to land. So we are gonna go full bridge on the mixture. And we are going to cut the throttles. We are going to go full prop, cut the throttles to drop the speed down. And I am seeing the airport in the distance. I'm gonna disconnect the autopilot and start reducing the throttles and taking the aircraft's control to drop the altitude down to get ready for landing. At this point we need to go almost all the way to the idle, maybe just a little over idle. And help the aircraft slow down. It might be a little bit late, but I'm gonna go flaps. And there's the airport right in front of us. Should drop the landing gear. And full flaps now. We are coming in for landing. We are a little bit high, but I think we can correct for this. Let's see how well we are going to execute this. I think we'll be fine. Oops. Oh. Okay, we were a little bit fast. But we are down. We can apply the brakes and stop the aircraft. I think we still have enough distance to stop on the runway. Nice. So, not a great landing, but I haven't landed this aircraft a lot, so I'm still learning its characteristics and how to control it, but at least we didn't leave the runway and we were able to stop on the runway. So flaps can now come up. We can turn the taxi lights on. Landing lights will stay on until we are off the runway. Alright, and I need to find the taxiway. I think this next right is looking like a taxiway. And I'm telling you, I am using a side stick Thrustmaster TCA, and I think if I had a yoke, that would have made a whole lot of difference for flying aircraft like this, because it gives you more resolution on the axis. But this is also good. We'll keep the engines at 100 or 1000 RPM. And there is the Bembridge. Very nice airfield from Burning Blue Design again. I'm just trying to slow the aircraft down, applying some brakes, because I still think we are a little bit fast for taxiing. And I'm trying to get us to a parking spot that has nice views of this beautiful airport. It could be my brother's. I'm not sure why it's so sensitive, but I might have to adjust the sensitivity a little bit because it's a little bit twitchy. I think I'm going to park the aircraft right here next to the Cessna 152 and use those stairs to go up to the terminal building. I think that's That's good. I'm not sure why there are trees flying. Oh, now they are on the ground, so those are bushes, or those were bushes flying. Interesting. But this has nothing to do with the airport. That's probably the Rex EQ season not reading the scenery well enough. But here we are at Bembridge. We can turn off the taxi lights. Let's just take care of those things before we go outside. Taxi lights, landing lights all off. Pitot heat, left, right, off. We haven't turned on the prop heat, so that's not an issue. Parking brake is set, landing gear is down, and we can turn the avionics and the inverter off, and we can finally cut the throttles to stop the engines and turn the beacon light off, turn the nav lights, and we can maybe leave the nav lights on for now. Let's bring our EFB, tablet, whatever you want to call it, cabin door, baggage door, wheel chocks, pitot covers, engine covers, all in place. And we can turn off the nav light, turn the magnetos off, heat can call off, transponder turned off automatically once we cut the power to the aircraft, so that's okay. Autopilot, prop sync all off, throttles are into the idle position, and that is pretty much all we need to do to leave the aircraft. And we can open the cowl flaps for the next flight. Once the engines are not running, you can hear the motors, and now it's open. So it was more than 5 seconds. There we go. Now the cowl flaps are open. We can put the control locks back in place. Nice. Our doors are open, and let's jump outside. Beautiful. I think it was a good flight, except the landing was a little bit unprofessional, if you want to put it that way. But here is Bembridge from Burning Blue Design. It really looks good, and it feels like it's close to the real life counterpart. There's that guy preparing his Cessna 152 for a flight, looks like. But thanks for being here with me today and joining the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any comments, any questions, anything to share, any feedback, please feel free to share them with me via the comments. And if you are not a channel subscriber but stumbled upon this video, please consider subscribing and turning the notifications on to get notified for future videos, and that also helps a lot with the YouTube's algorithm to make this video reach other flight sim enthusiasts who are looking for different videos to watch. Thanks for being here with me today, and we'll be seeing you in the next video.